A deep rush of water comes from somewhere below the gun deck. The ship's carpenter stops, listens, and runs down into the hold. Water is already spreading across the deck. He shouts for his mates and calls for the pumps, but he can see the flooding, not the hole. Somewhere behind the planking, below the waterline, the sea is still forcing its way inside. Every second they spend searching gives it more of the ship. On a British warship around 1800, finding that hidden damage fell to the Carpenter and his mates. Sailors take their places at the chain pumps. Water starts pouring back overboard. For a moment, it seems like the obvious answer. Then the Carpenter measures the water in the pump well. The level is higher. The pumps are moving, but the ship is still losing. Water gathering near the pumps may have entered the hull somewhere else. In the bottom of a wooden warship, narrow channels carried it along the keel toward the pump well. They helped collect water from different parts of the ship, but they also concealed the direction of the leak. The Carpenter and his mates lift sections of the lower flooring and follow the strongest flow through darkness, splintered timber, shifting stores, and the noise of the pumps. The water may be entering well away from the place where it first appeared. Wood fragments, sand, gravel, or loose ballast can also block those channels. The water does not disappear. It begins collecting where the pumps cannot remove it efficiently. One group clears the passage while another keeps the pumps moving. The main damage is still hidden. Then a mate calls from farther forward. A strong stream is forcing through the hull planking near the waterline. Now the Carpenter reaches for tools prepared before battle. Wooden shot plugs have been made in several sizes, each tapered so it can be driven into an opening. He chooses one, braces himself against the movement of the ship, and raises a heavy mallet. Each blow drives the plug deeper, while seawater sprays through the remaining gaps. The main stream weakens. For a moment, the Carpenter appears to have stopped the leak. Then water continues running through the damaged timber around the plug. Cannon fire rarely leaves a clean, round opening. A ball can split surrounding planks, open nearby seams, or create several smaller paths for water. A plug may close the center, while the damaged wood around it continues to leak. The Carpenter's mates bring pieces of plank and sheet lead to cover the irregular damage. They are not rebuilding the hull. They are making the breach admit less water. Behind them, one pump begins to slow. Its chain jerks under load, and the crew has to clear the mechanism. Tired sailors are replaced while a Carpenter's mate reaches for spare iron fittings. The water begins gaining ground again. The emergency is no longer a single repair. Sailors keep the remaining pumps moving. Others clear the channels beneath the flooring. At the hull, the Carpenter tightens the covering, checks the plug, and searches the neighboring planks. Closing one hole means little if another remains hidden. This was not merely a theoretical danger. In 1795, after the British captured the badly damaged French warship Ça Ira, a salvage party found about 7 feet of water in the hold. 7 pumps were put to work. Carpenters covered damaged lower gun ports and dealt with holes beneath the waterline. More than 100 additional men were eventually sent aboard to keep pumping and repairing, while the ship was taken toward safety. Saving a flooded warship could require far more than one carpenter and one patch. The Carpenter returns to the pump well. The new mark is still above the old one. The crew has slowed the flooding, but the ship is still losing. They search again. A smaller opening is found beside a damaged seam and covered. The channel is cleared. The repaired pump starts moving. Fresh sailors replace the exhausted men. The Carpenter checks the well a 3rd time. The water has stopped rising. This is not victory. It is a dangerous balance. If a plug loosens, a pump breaks, or the crew loses its pace, the level will climb again. So the work continues. Only at the next check does the mark sit slightly lower. That is the moment the ship gains a chance to survive. The hull is not dry. The plugs are temporary. Water is still entering through damaged timber, and the pumps are still running. But for the first time, more water is leaving than entering. The ship can now withdraw from danger and try to reach a place where the hull can be repaired properly. That was how sailors kept a damaged wooden warship from sinking. They found the worst leaks, reduced them one by one, and kept the pumps moving until the balance finally changed. At sea, repair did not always mean making the hull whole again. Sometimes it meant only one thing: making the next watermark lower than the last.